Alright guys, welcome to a little bit of a different video. Today, we're going to be doing how to make a Minecraft server on one of your old computers. So, if you have any computer that has a 64-bit CPU, which is like basically anything that's not a phone, or like a Raspberry Pi or something, if you have a real computer, you can make it a Minecraft server. And all you need is for it to be able to connect to the internet and download files. And that's pretty much it. Ooh, you also need another computer because this needs to be your old computer. So we're gonna use our main computer to download Balena Etcher, which is this is the computer that we're gonna be using to play Minecraft on, not to run the server. So we're going to get Balena Etcher, which is an etching program, and it's going to put this Ubuntu server that we're going to grab, it's just a file, and it puts it onto a USB, and then from there, we plug the USB into the old computer, and it changes its operating system from Windows or whatever it was to Ubuntu, and next, we need to log into the SSH, which is a secure host server, and we do that from the computer that we're going to be playing Minecraft from, our main computer, and that will log us in to the server computer. And you just need the default password and username for that, and I'll put those down in the description. And at that point, all you need to do is run one command and select a couple yes or no questions, and you have your server. It's probably going to be around like a 1 hour process to set up a server on an old computer, maybe less. Alright, well, I'll see you in the next step. Alright, here we are. We just need to download Balena Etcher. We're on balena.io/etcher. I'll put this in the description. And we're going to download for Windows because that's what I'm on. But you can also download it for Mac and Linux. And all you need to do is just whenever you click it, your computer is probably going to ask you, if you're using Chrome, if you want to keep it because it could harm your computer. It's not going to harm your computer if you use the correct image files, and then if you use it correctly, you won't do any damage to your computer. And we just wait for this to be done downloading. It's a super quick download. We probably don't even need to skip it. And as soon as it's done downloading, you can just click on it here, or you can navigate to your downloads folder, and it will be right there. And all you need to do is double click on the Balena Etcher setup, or just single click on it if you're using it in the browser, and it will bring up the Balena Etcher setup. This is the license agreement. If you want to read through it, you can. I just click agree. And now Balena Etcher should be installed. Yeah, here it is. It's right on my desktop now. Now, let's go to the next step. Now we're on ubuntu.com/download/server, and it looks a little different to what I'm used to, but really all we need to do is find the manual server installation and download Ubuntu server, and then whatever version, and LTS, which I'm not entirely positive what LTS means. And then once we download that, it says it should be downloading automatically. There we go. And we're just going to wait for this to be done downloading, and this is the operating system file that we're going to be sticking into the Balena Etcher, and then the Balena Etcher is going to put it on the USB. So for the next step, you're going to need to get your USB stick ready. I would recommend a 32 gigabyte USB. Alright, fantastic. Now we have the Ubuntu server ISO file. We are now going to go to our desktop and run Balena Etcher. When it loads up, we're going to choose to flash from a file. We're going to flash the Ubuntu ISO file, and we're going to select a target. Now, do not use any of the hidden ones. The hidden ones are going to be your system drives. You do not want to use your system drives. That will reformat your whole computer. I currently have no USB sticks plugged in because I don't have any extra. But at this point, you will see your USB stick. You will click on the check mark for that and click select. Now, whenever you do that, the option to flash it will be available. Click flash. Now you're going to have your USB stick. Well, it's going to download it, and it's going to take some time, probably like 20-30 minutes. And then you unplug the stick whenever it tells you it's safe to. And then you take it to your other computer. Whenever you take it to your other computer, you need to make sure that it's off the other computer that you're turning into a server. Plug the USB stick into it, and then load it up. Now, you're going to have to get into your computer's BIOS. Normally, the way you do that is while you're loading up, you repeatedly press escape or F1 or F2 or sometimes delete. But it'll probably tell you what button to press to get into your BIOS. Now, once you're in your BIOS, you have to change your boot order. Now, I'll show you some slideshows of this in editing. But whenever you change your boot order, you have to make sure that you change your legacy boot source or your UEFI or whatever your USB boot source is up to the very top. The USB boot source needs to be at the very top of your list. And from there, the computer will start up from the USB stick that you've just plugged in and install the Ubuntu server. Now, you don't need to worry about going back into the BIOS and changing it, because once the Ubuntu server installs, it will be changed automatically. Now, restart the computer after it's done doing all of its thing. If you have a display, that's great. If you don't have a display, just wait until the lights on it, the processor lights, stop flashing. And from there, you need to log into SSH. And so that's where we're going to go next. So I'll see you in that part. All right. So at this point, your server is actually running, and it should be connected to the internet. Maybe you have it plugged in via Ethernet, or maybe it has a wireless adapter or something like that. But at this point, your server is connected to the internet, but it doesn't have Minecraft on it, and we've never logged into it. So what you need to do is, on your main computer, the one that you're going to be playing Minecraft on, not the server computer, is press the Windows plus R key, or in some other way, find a way to get to your CMD, or command prompt. From there, you're going to press, I like to run it at administrator, just so that I know things are going to work. So I press Control, Shift, and Enter, and it's going to ask me if I want to run it as administrator, and I'll say yes. And from here, we're going to run the SSH command. So that looks like this, SSH space. And for you guys, since your server, your Ubuntu server, has just been created, you are going to want to log in to root at, and then your server's IP address. Now, to find that, you're going to need to go to the internet and open up a new tab and go to 10.0.0.1, or log in to whatever your router's IP address is, which it should be 10.0.0.1. Now from there, it's going to ask you for a username and password. Mine is different, but it should just be admin and then password. So the username is admin and the password is just password. But whatever router yours is, you can just look up the default username and password for your router and just insert your router's name. So from there, you're going to log in, and it will show you all of the connected devices, everything that's connected to your router, and it will tell you the IP of every single one of those devices. So you want to find your Ubuntu server. It's going to be labeled like Ubuntu or something obvious. You'll understand which one is the Ubuntu server. And from there, you'll get its IP. And for example, my server is 10.0.0.190, right? And so I'm not going to be able to log in because there is no server that exists as root. I'm not root. I am Stitch at 10.0.0.190, but you're going to be root at 10.0 or at root at whatever your IP is. And now I have a password that it doesn't show you when you type your password, by the way. It doesn't put the characters. But I type my password in and I'm gonna press enter. For you, there is going to be no password. It's going to ask you to create a password, and just know that it will never show you what you're typing. All right, again, so now we've hit enter, and we're gonna wait for it to SSH into the server, and here we go. So we are Stitch at StitchNet. You're gonna be root at Ubuntu probably, but from here, we actually, it already shows us all the statistics for a server, and I don't know if it's gonna show you guys all that, but what I recommend you guys doing now is, well, actually, we're gonna go to the next step. Let's go to the next step. Now we are ready to install the Minecraft server, and after this point, it's smooth sailing. All you need to do is go to the website jameschambers.com, which is an amazing website. Super, super kudos to James Chambers. I'm going to link him and put him all in my description. And he has an awesome Minecraft Bedrock Edition Ubuntu dedicated server guide, but it's not even just a guide, it's a great single command. You get this command, and so you might have to install curl. So if you don't have curl on your Ubuntu, you're going to have to install curl, and that's super simple. It's like sudo apt install curl. It's a single command. If you look it up on the internet, you'll figure it out. But I would assume that Ubuntu comes pre-installed with curl, and you just copy and paste this command. You literally just copy, and then you go into the command thing, and you right-click, and it pastes it in. I am not going to run this. That would be a very dangerous command for me to run because I already have my Minecraft server set up. But what it's going to do is it's now going to, if you click enter, it will start setting up the Minecraft server. And it is going to ask you 3 questions. It's going to ask you where you would like the server to be installed, and you want it to just be left as this default path, so you're just going to click enter. And it's going to ask you if you want your server to start up automatically. I have my server start up automatically. Every time the computer turns on, the server turns on. That way, if the computer turns off for some reason, like a power outage, whenever it comes back on, the server comes back on automatically. And the next question it's going to ask you is if you want to automatically restart and back up the server daily and you can configure the time. It can be any time you want. And I have that set to yes, because backups for the server are super important. And I'm going to show you how to access those backups and download them to your computer here in the next step. And that's going to be the final portion of the video. So, yeah, from here, let's just figure out how to get these backups, because at this point, once you've done that, it's going to restart your computer. I would recommend restarting the server after everything's done, and like the whole computer server, and you're going to be able to log into it from your Minecraft. And the way that you log into it from your computer is going to be different from how somebody will connect to it if they're not connected to your router, because your computer is connected to the same router as the Ubuntu server. But if your computer isn't connected to the same router as your Ubuntu server, you're going to have to log in a different way. So that's important to know. All right, let's move into the next step. All right, so you've played on your server, and the server has restarted. It made a backup. Every time it restarts, it makes a backup. Now, if you want to download that backup and move it from the Ubuntu server to your local computer or to anybody else's computer, really, you're going to want to go to Filezilla or any other FTP program. But my favorite is Filezilla. And all you're going to do is click download and then follow the download steps. It's super simple, but you want to download the client, not the server. Now, we're going to go over and click on Filezilla because I already have it installed. And from here, the host is going to be whatever your IP is that you want to connect to. So my server is at 10.0.0.190, but your server is going to be at whatever port you want, right? Now, the username is, for you, it was root, but for me, it would be Stitch, right? And then the password, you would leave blank if you have no password. And for me, I would type my password, whatever it is. And it doesn't, and it gives me dots too. So I can actually do it for the stream here. So I'm going to stick those in. And the port is going to be 22. Your guys' is also going to be on 22. You're going to click connect. It's going to do the same thing that the command prompt did. However, now we have this remote site window. So this is the local site that we're on, and we're going to want to navigate to downloads, or maybe just desktop. Let's just go to desktop. Now, whenever we go into this remote site, we're going to see these are the files on our Ubuntu server. So if we click expand on Stitch, here's Minecraft BE. This is going to be the same folder as you. And then this is the name of my Minecraft server's world. So you double click on that and then backups right there. These are all of the backups that I have stored for my Minecraft world. So now I want to get the latest backup from today, right? 4/10/2022. This is the day that I'm recording this. So we're going to right click it and click download. And it's going to download it to whatever we have open over here on our local site. And so it brings it right to the desktop. Or if we were in our favorites over here, it would Bing URL in my favorites. Oh gosh. But forget about that. But since we were in our desktop, it brings it to our desktop. And from there, you can just, if we double click it and open it, oh, we can't open it. Well, I know that there's a way to bring it. James Chambers has it on his website, how to... Oh, here we go. When a backup is made, the file name... If you need to restore a backup, it's very easy. Substitute the timestamp in my example for the backup you want to roll back to. So you put the... So if you have the backup file in your thing here still, like as a zip, like it's still here. I didn't move it. I just downloaded a copy of it. So it's still here. If you wanted to roll back to this backup, then you would just run these commands. This command, then this command, then this command, then this command. But instead of having this, you would replace this with the name of your backup, and then you run this, and then you'll be ran up to your backup. So, super simple. James Chambers has it all on his website, just right from installation down to automatic backups and even scheduled daily reboots. Okay, so you want to load into Minecraft, into your Minecraft Bedrock, and then you're going to go to your servers tab, and this is only going to work if you're on a computer. If not, you're going to have to change your DNS settings, which I'll show you in another video. It's super simple. You can load into any additional server, even on something like an Xbox or a PlayStation, when normally you wouldn't be able to. So it is possible to join this server from any Minecraft Bedrock, any way that you play Minecraft Bedrock, you're going to be able to log into this server. So the way you do it is you click Add Server, and then the server name doesn't matter. I'm just going to name it Stitch, and then from here you're going to put in the server address, and it's going to be, for you, it's going to be 10.0.0.190. But for other people, it's going to be your external IP. So this is why it's dangerous to give out. See, you need to make sure that you're doing this properly if you're giving this out to strangers. If you have no idea what you're doing and you're just following the tutorial because you want to play with your friends, I would never give anybody your external IP address. This IP address, the 10.0.0.190, that doesn't matter. That's just your router. But if you go on Google and you say, what's my IP address? It's going to tell you a different one. And that's the IP address of your router. That's the IP address other people are going to need to use here. They're going to need to change this address to be something else, your external IP address that Google tells you. It's dangerous to give that to people, especially because you have a server running. Like, they could just put files on your server, you know. Your server at this point has no firewall, no protection. So I'm going to do a video after this one that's going to be how to harden your server and make it more protected. But I still wouldn't even recommend giving out your external IP to just random people, only your very close friends. But this is an excellent way to have a Minecraft server that's always going to be up and that you can play with all of your friends. And here, let's just show you my server, 10.0.0.190, and it's on the port 19132, and you're just going to click play. The server's already been added. Yeah, see, I already have this server added. That's this server, if you look, 10.0.0.190. So we'll click play, and we're going to load right into our server. This is running on my old laptop, and I have it set out in my living room, and it's connected with an Ethernet directly to the router. It sits right next to the router. And yep, this is the server. It's actually the survival server. I have a couple videos on it. And if you want, there's a little bit of lag, but especially like you see that if we take like half heart damages, but that's just because of the computer that it's on. I have it on a really crappy computer. If you have it on a better computer, it's going to run better. You know what I mean? And the thing that's going to make the most difference is you're going to want to run the server on an SSD and not a hard drive. I have it running on a hard drive, and that's why if there's multiple people on, you'll notice some lag, or if we're loading a lot of chunks, it'll cause some lag. But if you have it run on an SSD, which it isn't a hard disk, it's solid state, it uses magnets, you can read and write a lot faster, and that's what Minecraft does a lot, and it's gonna be a lot better server. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. It feels nice to end this in Minecraft, because that's how I always end my videos, in Minecraft or in another game. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I wish you guys luck.